Mr. Secretary General and Mrs. Ban, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the commemoration of the Human Rights Day 2012. This year we have dedicated our Human Rights Day to inclusion and the right to participate in public life. Everyone, no matter who they are, has the right to be heard and to take part in making decisions that shape their community. This is a right enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as well as international covenants on civil and political, as well as social, economic, and cultural rights. The past century has seen undeniable progress in exercising the right to participate in public life. Regular elections are held in most parts of the world. Women have won the right to vote and have become drivers of social change in many countries. However, far too many groups and individuals still encounter serious obstacles to fully participating in the public life of their communities. Peaceful protesters are being beaten up and shot at. Women are still hugely underrepresented in parliaments and corporate boardrooms. Minorities face discrimination and persecution. The poor are denied access to public services, and so are persons with disabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, for the sake of equality, for the sake of human dignity, and in the spirit of Universal Declaration, we cannot tolerate anyone's exclusion or marginalization. So, what can each of us do to make everyone's voice count? How can we give a voice to the voiceless? Fulfilling the right to participation is a fight to be fought every day and a never-ending quest. Fortunately, there are many wonderful people who support this quest. Let us hear some of them.
All have the right to be heard. All have the right to be what we can be, to reach for the sky and touch the stars.
Ma voix, mon droit, ma voix compte.
You want to have different voices. You want to have more ideas.
Mi voz, mi derecho, mi voz cuenta.
Right of speech, right of choice. My voice, my right. My voice counts.
When people want to change a system, every single person has to participate.
On an equal basis with others.
My voice counts.
My voice, my rights. My voice counts.
صدای من حق من.
我的声音，我的权利，我的发言是算数的。
Мой голос имеет значение.
As a former head of state, I know it is not always pleasant to be criticized, but it is healthy and necessary to make progress in every society.
Your voice, your right, your voice counts.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, is a leading advocate for the inclusion and participation of marginalized social groups around the world. It is my pleasure and privilege to invite Mr. Secretary General to address you. Mr. Secretary General.
Thank you, Assistant Secretary General for Human Rights, Mr. Simonovic, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished panelists. It's a great pleasure to join you to mark Human Rights Day. I thank the Ford Foundation for hosting us today. Let me offer a special welcome to the panelists. What an inspiring group. They are young, but they already have a long list of achievements. I had the great pleasure of meeting them just 5 or 10 minutes before coming here. They are passionate. I look forward to hearing their thoughts tonight. But of course, the whole world has already heard a great deal from them and their peers, the largest generation of youth the world has ever known. Mr. Maher, you helped turn the tide of history in Egypt and across the Arab world. He's there. Mr. Heimans, Ms. Wanja, Mr. Torrilus, each of you, in your own way, is part of the great global groundswell for a new era of democracy, decent jobs, justice, and accountability. They are sitting here, okay? You're making your voices count. You are giving life to our messages for this year's Human Rights Day. Mr. Simonovic, I know you visited Mali recently and heard firsthand reports about some of the appalling human rights abuses being committed there, including summary executions, rape, and forced child recruitment. I myself have just returned from a visit to camps in Jordan and Turkey, where Syrian refugees are coping with several harsh realities at once: displacement, deepening winter weather, fear for families left behind, and for their very future. I was moved by their voices, by their stories. Their voices count too. The United Nations continues its humanitarian and diplomatic efforts to end the crisis in Syria. The scale and nature of the violence are becoming ever more shocking. The fighting threatens to take on even greater sectarian dimensions, and we need to do everything we can to prevent the situation from degenerating. All sides must scrupulously uphold the principles of protection, dignity, and humanity that underpin international humanitarian and human rights law. There must be accountability for the appalling rights violations that continue to be carried out by all parties. That is what Syrians must do. But the international community must also unite in support of these principles. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights and other instruments, including the Genocide Convention, require international cooperation for the prevention of violations that could ultimately constitute mass atrocity crimes. With this in mind, I urge the international community to exert immediate and sustained pressure on all the parties to the conflict. There is no military solution to this emergency. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in Syria and elsewhere, from conflict areas to factory floors, from public squares to the private recesses of biased minds, we must each do our part to stand up for universal rights. Making voices count means speaking out, but it also means listening. That has been my constant refrain for the Arab world and beyond. Leaders and people in power have an obligation to listen, really listen to their people's legitimate aspirations. Everyone has the right to be heard and to shape the decisions that affect their lives and their communities. Women have the right to vote almost everywhere, but remain hugely underrepresented in parliaments and peace processes, in senior government posts and corporate boardrooms. Indigenous people, minorities, people with disabilities, or those with a different sexual orientation all frequently face discrimination. We are also seeing alarming threats to hard-won gains in democratic governance. In some countries, civil society groups face growing pressures and restrictions on their rights to freedom of expression and assembly. We should all be troubled by such backsliding. Even in societies with good track records, there is room for improvement. International law is clear. No matter who you are or where you live, your voice counts. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many ways to make our voices count. One is through music. In a few moments, you will see a new music video called A Better Place. It is the product of collaboration between the United Nations MDG Achievement Fund, a global initiative in support of the Millennium Development Goals, and Playing for Change, a movement of musicians from around the world. Their message is clear. To achieve the MDGs, the world needs equality, justice, freedom, and human rights. It is fitting that this video is being launched on Human Rights Day. I invite you to visit the Better Place website to add your voice to this cause. And I look forward to working with all of you to build a better world for all. Thank you very much.
American, de man je på don pen, Asian, Européen, de man je på don pen. Salut, salam, shalom, salut, salam, shalom, noir ou blanc, rouge ou jaune. Nye pe bokriem, nye pe yale, nye bon. Nye pe bokriem, nye pe yale, nye sak. Nye pe bokriem, nye pe toma da ma. Freedom, freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you hear it through the music, we can make this world a better place. Freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on.
this video for raising their voices for freedom and for justice. My special thanks go to Secretary General for his leadership and commitment in quest for justice and human rights. Ladies and gentlemen, recent global events, from the Arab Spring to Occupy movement, have highlighted the role of young people and new media in organizing for social change. We are delighted to have this evening together with us as panelists 4 young activists. Their efforts reflect the new era of dynamic and innovative human rights activism. Mr. Jeremy Heimans from Australia is co-founder and head of Purpose, which works on way to build movements for mass participation. He's also co-founder of Avaz, the world's largest and most powerful online internet network. From climate change to poverty, from corruption to human rights, Jeremy mobilizes communities online and offline to get their voices heard. Jeremy, please come forward. Ms. Pauline Wanja from Kenya is co-founder of the organization Living in a Shanty Town. She grew up in a slum herself, and she is now helping young people in slums to take part in political process to improve their rights. Pauline, please take your seat. Mr. Ahmed Maher from Egypt is the co-founder of the April 6th youth movement. This pro-democracy youth movement initiated the protests and the occupation of Tahrir Square in Cairo that culminated in the Egypt Revolution 2011. Right now, they are again gathered on the square to claim their rights. Ahmed, please join the panel. Mr. Chenet Torrilus from Haiti is the co-founder of the Haitian Association of Volunteers for Democracy and president of Haitian Youth Parliament, a non-governmental organization that seeks to involve young people in decision-making in Haiti. Chenet, please come forward. So, welcome, dear panelists. The applause clearly shows how everyone present much appreciates your work. Could you tell us a bit more on what do you do to promote inclusion and participation in public affairs? Can you start, Jeremy?
I'd be very happy to. Thank you so much for inviting me, and it's fantastic to be here with a very inspiring group of activists from all over the world. So I guess I'm involved with using these new tools of participation to give people opportunities to really realize their collective power. And so people talk a lot about the role of technology in social movements, but really, you know, people from the beginning of the time people have been activists have been using whatever tools were available. When I was a young activist, I used fax machines during the first Gulf War to try to stop the first Gulf War by running a fax campaign. And then when the internet came along, that was a much more efficient way to do it, and we were able to scale a much bigger group of people to take action around major global issues, which led me to start Get Up in Australia and to co-found Avaz, and then to start Purpose, which is a home, an incubator for starting these social movements. And Debbie, to give just one example, because the Secretary General's here, to give you a sense of what we do, when the Secretary General gave his speech to the Human Rights Council last year about sexual orientation issues, which was an incredibly important speech for the world, where he, for the first time as sitting Secretary General, spoke about the importance of LGBT rights. All Out, the global gay rights group that Purpose founded, was called in by the Secretary General's office to find a way to get that speech to more people. And so, the speech had been made to the Human Rights Council. it was so important and so inspiring. But the challenge was, how do we get it to people on the internet who are too busy kind of looking at videos of cats bumping into things? And so we remixed the speech. And we put some music. We put some music on there. We added some imagery. We kind of made it a little bit interesting, a little bit different. And it went from having 500 views to having 150,000 views in just a few days. And so we were really proud of having the opportunity to give those really important words a much bigger audience. And that's the sort of work that we do every day, which is popularizing these things, helping people realize their collective power.
Thank you very much. Now remember, we are twitting here. So be short. Pauline, you have the floor.
Thank you for the invite, and I'm so humbled to be here. Having grown up in a slum, this is one thing we find unmatched, and that's a sense of solidarity, brotherhood. So what living in a shanty town does, it just gathers that sense of solidarity and brotherhood for a better cause. So we bring young people together from slums and help them break the poverty cycle, create new social realities for themselves. But since breaking the poverty cycle is so hard, we also create a community that can support those aspirations. That's what living in a shanty town does. And the name was to be some form of identity. So, thank you.
Thank you. Ahmed, what's your story?
It's a very long story, but I try to short it. First of all, I am very happy to be here with you. I started from 2003 when I was a student, and I found there is many corruption in Egypt, and Egypt have many resources and didn't manage it because of the dictatorship. So I started to find a movement or political movement to join, and I found Kifaya movement in 2004. I was a member in Kifaya movement, participated to calling for a change of regime and step down Mubarak from 2004. And me and many of my colleagues was arrested several times at that time. And for me, I created a group called General Strike April 6 in 2008. And it was surprised that there is many people, more than 70,000 joined this group in just 1 week. And we established a movement called April 6 Youth Movement, calling for change and step down Mubarak from 5 years. And this movement participate and take a great role to mobilize people in 25th of January in revolution. Until now, we're mobilizing people against the new regime. We were members of campaign for the new president, Morsi, but now when we feel that he is try to be a new dictatorship, we try to stop him and try to make a good constitution. I was a member in the Constitutional Assembly, but when I found there is a problem inside, I withdrew, and now we try to correct the situation in Egypt.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. Chenet, it's your turn.
Thank you. During my 26 years of life in this world, I learned that the world will be what we young, we wish it would be. It's for this reason, in 2008, after a student movement in Haiti for youth integration, we decided to create the Volunteers for Democracy. And after we invite elected young people from the 10 regions of Haiti to come in Port-au-Prince for training about issues on political institution and for training about interaction of the institution. This event is called in the Haitian Youth Parliament. And after we implemented the Haitian Youth Government and the Haitian Youth Parliament, that supposed to influence the political actors in Haiti and for training about a simulation of the power in Haiti. And so we submitted some draft bills to the Haitian official parliament, like a draft bill on the creation of a fund for the environmental protection, a creation of a draft bill on the integration of youth people, and we led campaign for the ratification of the International Covenant on economic, social, and cultural rights. And this after in January 2012, the official parliament of Haiti ratified the International Covenant on Economic and Social Cultural Rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Chenet. In right of every activist, there are failures and there are successes. Today, we do not speak about failures. So please, could you share with us what was so far your greatest success in mobilizing people, in ensuring their participation? And I will say so far because we expect a lot out of you in future. So we can start with you, Ahmed. What was the factor of success of the movement in 2011? What made the revolution happen, and what are the challenges right now?
Okay, what made the revolution happen is not social media like written in the foreign media, but the people need the revolution, the people needed change in Egypt, they need dignity, they need social justice, they need freedom, so they go to the streets in 25th of January calling for real democracy. We were the main group in this mobilizing people in 25th of January, and after that we started to spread awareness and try to mobilize people with advocacy against the old regime. And till now, the current situation is very complicated in Egypt. But our role as a youth groups in Egypt that fighting against corruption, fighting against old rules and old regime and old mentality, and try to help the government or the president if he try to do any good things, and try to stop him if he try to be a new dictatorship or do any bad things. That is our mentality now, or our behavior now. And we made many things in 25th of January and after, many events after, and also many events before, how to send a message to the people that you are solution. Don't wait anything from the government, you are solution. You have a voice, you can think, you can have your rights, so don't wait anything from the government. You must lead. You are the power, you must lead the government to anything you want for your rights.
Arab Spring and Egyptian Revolution have put on the agenda important role of women. Are those gains sustainable?
During the revolution, there is many women participating in the demonstration and protest, and till now the women have big roles in politics. We have candidates, and we have leaders in many movements and political parties, but the mentality in Egypt, we need to change it. We need to change the mentality to let to the women to participate in politics more than now. So I think it will take a long time, and we have a problem now with maybe with the Muslim Brotherhood. They didn't support articles inside the constitution make equality between men and women. It was the main problem between the liberals and Muslim Brotherhood and the Islamic groups inside the Constitution Committee. So for liberal groups, we will support human rights, and we are sure that human rights will be a very important issue in Egypt.
Thank you very much. Chenet, what about your greatest success?
I think my major success is when the Youth Haitian government decided to prepare a draft bill about the integration, about youth integration. And this draft was approved by the Haitian Youth Parliament. And after in an official ceremony, the president of both chambers, official chambers of Haiti, received this draft bill. I think this was my greatest success.
Congratulations, Chenet. Pauline, what will you share with us?
Oh, when we started out, initially we were working with a lot of school youth. And then early this year, we started to work with youth in school. Most of schools not supported by government. So it was hard to not try to make these very young people be activists. So we told them to write essays about a change maker in my shanty town, and this is what I intend to do. The initial essays were mostly about complaint, them feeling like they were really victim of circumstances. But after working with them for like a year, hearing them talk differently, them feeling like they're in charge of their own lives, that they can actually create new social realities for themselves and their community, I think that was like our really great success story. And it brought out the idea of a generational change of young people in a slum who don't feel like victimized. They see their role in breaking the poverty cycle. So that was one of the success stories.
Thank you, Pauline. Jeremy, you attach great importance and leverage to social media as tools for political activism and mobilization. There are some who say that such activism is clicktivism and that it is a way out for those ones who are not ready to get out and fight for their rights in the street. So what do you say to those critics?
Well, I mean, firstly, I completely agree with Ahmed that social media is not the story of the revolution in Egypt, and I think the kind of frothing Western media's excitement about Twitter and Facebook. But really, what technology is doing is simply making activism better and more efficient and beginning to politicize people. So, you know, when Martin Luther King was as an activist, the people who put their lives on the line in the civil rights movement didn't start doing that on day one. They needed to be politicized. They needed to build commitment. And what the internet enables us to do is give people simple entry points to political activism. And it's our job then to build on and consolidate that initial enthusiasm and turn it into the kind of offline activism that we then see in those high-stakes situations. And that's exactly what happens, I might add. In other words, by building a very large online community, you can help surface the people who are going to become the offline activists and go on to do those things. So all of our work really demonstrates those two things are deeply mutually reinforcing. And you know, it's not about whether it's a new tool or an old tool, it's about whether it's giving people a sense of their own power and a sense of their own agency. And I think that's what these tools can do. They can also help activists do things they otherwise would never be able to do, like raise money online. That's been a game changer for lots of organizations. Just not possible the old-fashioned way in the same way at the same scale. And those numbers confer a legitimacy that can be very important as well when you're on the line trying to do activism.
Thank you, Jeremy. Secretary General had to leave because of his prior commitment, and we are very grateful for him that he was with us and supported human rights causes. It wouldn't be proper to have an event on inclusiveness, on participation, and not open the floor for the audience. So please, the floor is now open. If there is any question to our panelists, any comments, please just be short and identify yourself and the organization that you are presenting. The floor is open. Yes, please.
Hi, how are you? My name is Mordechai Lebovitz.
Mike is coming. Mike is coming just behind you.
Hi. Hi. Hello. All right. My name is Mordechai. I'm loud enough. My name is Mordechai Lebovitz. I'm representing the UUA, the Unitarian Universalist Association, United Nations office. My question is about whether you find as activists the faith and traditional communities something that you're conflicting and fighting against, or are you finding that the trend is that now the faith communities or traditional cultural communities are things that are helping you along with your activism? And what is the way forward to kind of reach out to the faith, religious, and traditional communities so that they can be used for progress, especially in terms of human rights?
Thank you very much. We will have a couple of questions and then turn back to the panel. The floor is open. Yes, please.
Hello. My name is Jesse Hawks, and I'm the Executive Director of Global Youth Connect. We run human rights programs for youth from around the world. And I'm curious about you're all coming from outside of the United States. The United States is a very influential country around the world and tries to be a beacon of hope for the rest of the world, as a lot of our politicians say. Do you think that there are many voices in your countries that speak out against the United States or against intervention or meddling, so to speak? Or do you think there are voices that really appreciate what's going on from the US State Department, for example? And are those voices being heard? Are they effective? Do you have examples of that, of criticisms? Are they able to be voiced effectively?
Thank you. We can have 2 more questions. Yes, gentlemen, the mic is coming. Thank you.
Reverend Moses Williams, I'd like to pick up on the question he just posed. I'm a clergy, and I'd like to find out, given the fact that the Secretary General of the UN has said that he would like to do a study on the causes of natural disaster, but I don't see any opportunities for civil society to participate in that dialogue. How can we as civil society participate in the dialogue that's going to basically talk about how we can stop future disasters and then begin to talk about take on a role, because we have about 100 churches in our denomination, and we're trying to find a way to make an effective entry into that discussion.
I thank you very much. Yes, please, the lady right next to you.
Good evening. My name is Mariam, and I'm from Mali, from Antwerp College. So I want to know, I have a question for Pauline. So I want to know, how do you get women involved and Muslim women involved in political activism? And I have another question for Ahmed. So right now my country is in conflict. So I want to know how you can get involved youth into political activism in country which is in conflict. Thank you.
Okay, due to shortage of time, we must now end with questions. Is there somebody very anxious to write a question? Last question. Okay, we have somebody in orange who cannot wait.
So I said, okay, great. My name is Salah Anwar. I'm an Egyptian independent activist. I would like to ask each of you, it depends on your different experiences, how you guys are planning to connect your activism and your experience on the ground with officials and governments to whether let you guys have more rule in real politics and be able to implement your experiences in a role that will take place on the ground, aside of being involved with public, whether governments would accept that and would have the mentality to accept that youth will take a great part in politics.
Thank you very much. And now back to the panel. Who of you wants to take the floor? Jeremy.
I remember the first question, so we'll start there. And then we'll
Pick one.
Yeah,
Pick
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Those are not easy questions, so you can be choosy.
Yeah, indeed.
Please.
Well, very quickly in response to your question about the role of faith groups, I think this, as you know better than I would from what you represent, there's a strong tradition of faith groups being activists and actually leading on major moral issues. Of course, it cuts both ways. So, you take an issue like gay rights, and on the one hand, you've got evangelical Christians here in the United States funding a lot of the hate that's happening in sub-Saharan Africa and places like Uganda, and really using that as sort of a second front to achieve things that they could only dream of achieving here in the US. And on the other hand, on those same issues, or on issues like climate change or global poverty, faith-based groups are really leading the charge. So I think if anything, the trend line is really positive in lots of countries. So even here in the US, younger evangelicals are becoming much more progressive, basically, about a lot of social issues and they're understanding the role that, custodianship of the planet can play in a kind of broader Christian framework. So, I'd like to say that I'm hopeful about that.
Thank you very much. Pauline, Ahmed, your names were mentioned.
Okay, about also the first question about what is the mentality and traditional things in our community, if they prevent that change. Yes, before the revolution, when I remember that, my family and my friends, they said to me, please don't join politics, don't join political movements. It's very dangerous to your life, and you can lose your job. And already I lost my job several times. I was arrested several times. When I remember that, we was, from 2003 and 2004, just 50 people, 500 people. But now our demonstration in the street, 5 million, 10 million in the street. So the first wave was suffering from many things, but I'm sure that now it's very easy to anyone to participate in politics. And now the first wave make the second and third wave encouraged to join politics and political life. The second question about how the young people join politics, and it's not stable in Egypt now, and there is a conflict. I think the young people responsible for change, they started the change before the revolution. They started, it was like a spark in 25th of January, and now they leading the change in Egypt in this conflict about the constitution. So our generation now leading the change in Egypt, and they are responsible for that. And because we want a better life, and if we haven't now, so our sons must to have a better life in the future.
I thank you very much, Ahmed. Pauline, Chenet, if you prefer, I can offer you something else than answering questions. Human Rights Day is a birthday of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And on birthday, we make wishes. Do you want, instead of answering question, make a human rights wish for 2013? Wish for Chenet.
I wish in 2030, I wish that we have education for all people in the world.
Thank you very much, Chenet. Pauline, answer or wish?
I'll answer her briefly, then I'll wish connected.
Good.
Thank
Do
you.
it.
Okay, for getting women, especially young women, interested in political inclusion, we have to first address economic. Like for most young women, especially if they have a family, their main goal is to provide like a single or a meal for their family that day. So when you talk about all politics, it's not of great concern. But when you address their economic situation, like get them into income generating activities, ways of trying to grow their businesses, then in their meetings, in an hour or two, you can bring all the political agenda. They're more excited because at the end of the day, they're able to give food to their family. My wish for the year 2013 is that in every program we're doing for alleviation of poverty, addresses more than just these poor people as mere vessel of need, but shapers of their own destiny. So that's my wish for 2013. Thank you.
Ahmed and Jeremy, you are entitled for a short and small wish as well.
2013, it's near, it's very short time. So I wish a good constitution, have achieved our demands for the revolution, dignity, freedom, and social justice. And I wish stability in 2013. We need stability in Egypt.
Jeremy, last wish is yours.
Well, I wish for peace in Israel-Palestine, but I'll settle for a little less war.
Okay, I would like to thank our panelists, to Pauline, to Jeremy, to Ahmed and Chenet for joining us today and sharing with us their experiences in giving a voice to the voiceless. Let us give them a hand. you may take your seats. Yeah. There is a long wish of thanks. I wish to thank the Department of Public Information for working with us to organize this Human Rights Day and other events around the world. I thank the Ford Foundation for enabling us to have our Human Rights Day in these wonderful premises. And I thank you all for coming tonight and supporting human rights. I invite you now to the more relaxing part of our evening, a musical performance by special guests, followed by a reception in the atrium. Music is a strong force of social change. Although she will not be performing tonight, our guest of honor is Yvonne Chaka Chaka, the Princess of Africa. Please. While we are preparing the stage, I would like to show you a video created by Australian artist Pogo. Pogo makes his music by combining video clips from various sources. Here is Pogo for human rights.
My birthday wish is all are free and equal. Protection. Hola. Hola. My inspections on hola. Hola. My inspections on freedom. Hola. Hola. My inspections on hola.
I now have the pleasure to introduce a group of young people from Haiti known for their excellent and socially engaged music. They are one of the most prominent music groups from Haiti and increasingly recognized around the world and New York City. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in welcoming CaRiMi.
Hi guys. It's really a privilege for us to be here, especially as Haitians. I know we've been making headlines for the past forever, if I can say. I mean, you know, we live in New York, but we were survivors of the earthquake in January 2010. Very fortunate to survive. We moved in the United States in late 1990s. We were fortunate, I can say, to have the opportunity to pursue our studies here and also to use our talents to sing about not only our country, but about the negativity in our country, to raise not only awareness, but to bring hope to our people, because you know, they say we are the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, but I mean in culture, in heart and hard work, I think we are the richest. So it's a privilege to be here tonight, and I hope to share with you a few songs. We're not usually in this set format. We're a full-grown band, but I mean we scale it down just to make it
the song we're about to sing is actually on our second album. We released it back in 2003, and enjoy it. Est-ce qu'ils sont gentiment chéris? L'amour t'est fait le fou, ça nous t'est jaloux. Pas de v'lait passer une nuit sans. Les soirs me pas dormir, ça qui m'a dit bonne nuit. Et qu'on est, c'est quand déjà passé. Comme on nous dirait, que mon qui pensait qu'il t'a cassé, babe. Oh, l'amour nous t'est belle, malgré chacun des vieux moments triompher, babe. Chaque fois il y a des petits loups, c'est tout le monde frémit, qui j'en dis merci. Oh, so oui, moi je vais en garder, oh, baby, qui fait qu'elle sourit. Chaque fois qu'il est papy, et qu'on est, oh, c'est quand déjà passé. L'amour nous dirait que mon qui pensait qu'il n'a cassé, baby, l'amour nous dirait, malgré chacun des vieux moments qui ont fait. Baby, chérie, pas comme ça, yeah. Oui, Dieu, tout dépensé. Baby, moi pas qu'à camper parce qu'il me soupe. Fais une belle identité, tellement amoureux soleil. Mon non pas pour titer parce qu'il me soupe. Baby, wow, wow, soupe, baby. Baby, come back and give me soup.
Well, this song is called Por Favor. It's in Spanish. I know the chorus is in Spanish actually. We speak Creole, but you guys know that since Santo Domingo is close to us, certain of us speak a little bit of Spanish. Not me. Only that part that I know, Por Favor. So it's from our second album also, and I think it's a nice song you guys will enjoy. Mamacita, 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 yeah, yeah. Mamacita, 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 mamacita. Io toujours dire, même parler quoi, l'amour qu'on fait, più pagite. Pour moi c'était, parole en l'air, divagation, disons mon fou. Depuis j'ai tombé, non j'ai aussi la chavirée. Tête en bas, depuis j'aime tomber, gardez-moi quand tomber. Por favor, qu'un bel moment before. Por favor, c'est comme sucre. Por favor, ma femme. Por favor, ma supplié. Por favor, qu'un bel moment before. Por favor, c'est comme sucre. Por favor, et puis nous aimer encore. Por favor, et puis nous aimer amor. Mamacita, 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 yeah, yeah. Mamacita, 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 mamacita. La ligne mette était cachée, lumière de jeu, mais choix le cœur. Nous pas le remet, tout en guettant, nous pas chasser tout le monde.
a chaviré, tête en bas, depuis j'entends Belgique. Gardez-moi quand trembler, por favor, que meu mamãe pifa, por favor, se como suco, por favor, ma penalty, por favor, ma simple, por favor, que meu mamãe pifa, por favor, que meu mamãe pifa, por favor, e pino que me amor, por favor, e pino que me amor. Dis-moi qui ça vous fait parler avec tout le temps, ma peine en paix derrière. Répète tout ce fois que j'ai qui moi répéter, ça va dire moyen. Dis-moi qui ça vous fait parler avec tout le temps, ma peine en paix derrière. Répète tout ce fois que j'ai qui moi répéter, me ben aquí, baby. Oh, ben aquí, baby. Ay, 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 ben aquí, baby. Oh, ven aquí, baby. Ay, 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 ay. Dis-moi qui ça vous fait moi parler avec tout le temps, ma belle au pied derrière. Répète tout ce fois que j'ai qui moi répéter, ça va dire moyen. Dis-moi qui ça vous fait moi parler avec tout le temps, ma belle au pied derrière. Répète tout ce fois que j'ai qui moi répéter, ven aquí, baby. Oh, ven aquí, baby. Ay, 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 ven aquí, baby. Oh, ven aquí, baby. Ay, 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 por favor, por favor, se como suco, por favor, por favor, por favor, por favor, se como suco, por favor, y pido que me amor, por favor, y pido que me amor.
I think we could serenade you guys for forever if it came down to that. But with the time that we had, I think we chose a couple of love songs because we believe that with a good heart, a lot can be accomplished. We don't believe in big movements. As coming from a very small country, we believe in small actions. I mean, if you do your part and he does his and he does his, and you know, it will big to a bigger movement, and then we can get more accomplished like that. When we left our country back in 1998, 97, first song that we did was a song about Haiti, which is the song that we are more known for, Haiti Bang Bang. It's a song telling that we left our country, and when we came back, we saw misery, we saw a lot of things that changed, we saw a lot of things that did not change, and 12 years later, 14 years later, it's still the same story, probably different characters, but still the same thing. So, I mean, we continue to sing, we continue to preach, not only to our people to stay strong and to keep it moving, but also to the international community to keep giving. It's not an easy task for us to, you know, not only being the first black independent country, it's a big burden that we have yet learned how to really manage, but we are fortunate with what we have, and we will continue to be very happy with the things that we have and very happy with the help that we get. So the next and last song is the first song that we ever wrote that came out. It's called Haiti Bang Bang. It's a little more joyful.
Mon pays va mal, mon pays va mal, 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 mal. Mon pays va mal, mon pays va mal, 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 mal. Mon pays va mal, mon pays va mal, 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 mal. Mon pays va mal, mon pays va mal, 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 mal. FBI, DEA, mes amis, mes amis, mes amis. FBI, DEA, mes amis, mes amis, mes amis. Ça fait des hommes pas well, paye-moi changer couleur. Ça fait des hommes qui t'aiment, même figure ma misère. Nous Plutôt fait ménager. Fais semblant ça va changer. Plutôt fait ménager. Dis petit pas nous pas tourner. Mes amis, ah 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 ah. Haïti moi, oh ah 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 ah. Sans penser lié, dis-moi qui sont pour le faire. Pour changer mentalité mon pays en danger. Pas que personne qui décide les vampires. Oh yo yo, plutôt fait mettre des chaînes. Fais semblant ça va changer. Plutôt fait mettre des chaînes. Dis petites pas nous pas tourner. Mes amis, ah 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 ah. Haïti moi, oh ah 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 ah. Someone say lié, FBI, DEA. Mes amis, mes amis, mes amis, FBI, DEA. Mes amis, mes amis, mes amis. When we wrote this song, it was like, since we've been living in the United States, so we got to interact a lot with the Haitians living abroad. And a lot of the stuff that we would hear them say is they're the most patriotic, but from the outside. They will say that they would do the most and not get involved, you know, in comparison to the Haitian living in Haiti and actually suffering. So when we moved to the United States, you know, it only fueled us more to do more, not only to help our own people, but to sing more, to make more songs, to really create the awareness about Haiti. And I think today, I thank you guys for giving us the opportunity really to, even for a short time, to talk and sing and share with you guys about Haiti. Haiti is a beautiful country. Don't listen all the negativity. We understand every positive has also a negative. That's the balance of the world. But we are a beautiful country, a rich country in culture and music and beautiful people. Bang bang, Lucky bang bang, Lucky bang. Dis-moi tout n'est d'un coup, you film cowboy. Bang bang, Lucky Luke. Pays par je responds, jouer avec. Bang bang, Lucky bang bang, Lucky bang. Dis-moi tout n'est d'un coup, you film cowboy. Bang bang, Lucky Luke. Le pays par je responds, jouer avec. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Macaulay Cesar at the guitar.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to sing. I'm just thanking CaRiMi for their wonderful music and invite you to a reception in the atrium.
When this old world starts getting me down and people are just too much for me to face, I climb way up to the top of the stairs and all my cares just drift right into space.